Rachna and I'm back with a new lesson. Well, today's lesson is about using who and whom. The other day when I was preparing this lesson for you guys, I took a 2-minute break and I went away from my desk. So a colleague of mine came, read the script and said, "Who is preparing this?" And there I went, "I'm preparing this." And then she came up to me and asked, "Whom are you going to teach this lesson to?" And I said, "To all those wonderful subscribers who wait and long for our lessons." So here we are, who and whom. Well, to begin with, a lot of people get confused when to use who and when to use whom. And of course, more often than not, people prefer using who because it sounds more correct and is just the easier option. Well, it's not as tough as you think it to be. It's very simple. Now let's begin. First, let's understand we use who and whom when you want to know something about people. Not about things, not about objects, but people. Okay, so here we're going to talk about people. Okay, now besides being used in questions, who and whom are also used in general sentences. But in today's class, I'm going to tell you how to use them in questions. Okay, so first let's start with who. Now we use who when we talk about or when you want to know something about the subject. Now let's take a quick recap. What is a subject? A subject is a person or thing that does an action. In this case, we are only going to talk about people. So, well, a subject is a person who does an action. He is the doer in a layman's language. So, he is the doer of the action. He does something. Okay. So, if we use who when you want to know which person does an action, okay, or you can also use who when you want to know which person is a certain way. Okay, so let's take a look at the first example. Who baked the cake? Now here we want to know who is baking. The action is baking. So you want to know which person is doing the action. So you ask who, right? Because this who is going to tell you the subject or tell you which person is baking the cake. So the correct option would be who baked the cake. All right. The next example, who woke up late? Woke up is the action. You wake up late. Now you want to know who. So you don't say whom woke up late, you say who woke up late, because that will tell you who did the action or which person did the action of waking up late. So probably you will have answers like he, she, they, we woke up late, I woke up late. All right. So you have, pronouns like I, you, he, she, it, they, we that will answer the who question. Will tell you about the subject or tell you which person did the action. Okay friends, I hope this is clear. Let's go to the third one. Who is taller? Now you want to know which person is a certain way. Okay, so you can say who's taller, John or Maria. You want to know which person is a certain way, or probably when you're describing people, you want to know who is the most intelligent student in your class. So you say who, you don't say whom. So when you want to know how a person is or which person is a certain way, you use who. Okay. So in short, when you use who, it tells you or you get the answer about which person is doing the action or which person is a certain way. Okay. I hope this is clear and there's no confusion now. Let's move on to whom. Whom is also related to people, but whom will tell you which person receives an action. Now here you learned the subject is the person who does the action. In this case, when you ask the question whom, it tells you which person receives an action. So the object of the sentence. Okay, so when you want to know which person is at the receiving end, or probably action is done upon someone, you always ask whom. So that's the object. You want to know the object, right? So whom are you inviting? Now see this, it's very simple. You are inviting, so you are the subject. Okay, so you are doing the action of inviting. So would it be appropriate to use who are you inviting? Ideally, no. But yes, a lot of people use this because it's simpler, and many believe that whom is less commonly used. So people say who. Not completely wrong, but again, not the correct option. The ideal one is whom are you inviting? So you are inviting someone, and if you say I'm inviting Maria, that means you are doing the action of inviting on Maria. So here you know which person is receiving the action. So whom is the correct option. Alright. Next, whom did John hire? John is doing the action. He is the subject. Alright. You have the action here. John is hiring whom? Who is receiving the action? Which person is receiving the action? So if you want to know, the ideal way to ask is whom did John hire? Okay, so remember, when you want to know which person receives an action, always ask the question whom. Okay, and the last one, whom did he blame? Now, he blamed someone, so he is the subject, he is doing the action of blaming, but you want to know on whom, which person is he, accusing? Well, so the correct one to say is whom. Okay, friends, I hope you have understood how to use whom. Well, in a quick nutshell, who will always tell you which person does an action or which person is a certain way, and whom will tell you which person is receiving an action. Who tells you about the subject, whom will tell you about the object or the receiver of the action. Okay, friends, I hope you have understood this clearly and there is no confusion. Well, just to put it to test, I suggest you take a test by clicking on the link in the description given below this video. Alright, and do let me know your scores. Well, till then, continue practicing. I'll be back with a new lesson. Take care and bye.